नमस्कार, मैं डॉक्टर सत्यप्रकाश सिंह, डायरेक्टर सिटी स्कूल ऑफ फार्मेसी। आज हम पिछली क्लास में हमने पढ़ा था एवापोरेशन, उसके ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, एप्लीकेशंस और डिफरेंट फैक्टर्स अफेक्टिंग एवापोरेटर। उसके अलावा दो एवापोरेटर्स के बारे में भी हमने पढ़ाई की थी। अब इस लेक्चर में हम लोग पढ़ेंगे टाइप्स ऑफ एवापोरेटर्स की कंटिन्यूशन और अलग अलग जो एवापोरेटर्स हैं उसके बारे में जानेंगे। नाउ द फर्स्ट एवापोरेटर in today's class is climbing film evaporator. Climbing film evaporator. It is an example of film evaporators. As the name suggests, climbing film, that means in this case film is climbing from bottom to in upward direction. Okay. So, here also steam is used as a source of heat. So, the tubes are heated externally with the help of steam. So, this is the principle behind the working of this climbing film evaporators. Preheated feed or cold feed both can be entered in this evaporator from the bottom and flows up through the heated tubes. Okay. The construction of this evaporator, the heating unit which is used in this case is consists of steam jacketed tubes. Since steam is used as a source of heat, so it consists of a steam jacketed tubes which is having a length to diameter ratio of 140 to 1. The ratio of length is to diameter is 140 to 1. So, that a large evaporator may have tubes of 50 mm in diameter and it has a length of about 7 meter. The second part of this evaporator is, one is heating unit and the other one is separator. So, the evaporator, this is the simple heating unit and this is portion is called as separator. Okay. Now, in this case of a climbing film evaporator, how it works? As you see in the previous diagram, that the feed inlet of evaporator is located at the bottom of the heating unit. So, this was the heating unit, like this. Here several number of tubes are there through which the liquid is flowing in upward direction, and this tube is connected to a separator. This was the source for feed inlet. Okay. So, the cold or preheated liquor is introduced into the tube, where this cold or feed heated liquor is introduced into this portion, that is from bottom of the evaporator, from where it is going in upward direction through the tubes. So, the cold or preheated liquor is introduced into the tube. So, see this first diagram. Let us consider the diagram 1. In this diagram, what we are seeing, this is the tube of the this evaporator, film evaporator. In this tube, this cold or preheated liquor is introduced. Okay. As soon as feed is introduced into the tubes, we have to introduce steam through the steam inlet into the heating unit. Okay. As soon as steam is introduced into the heating unit, if you will see this, consider this second diagram. In this case, what happens? Heat is transferred to the liquor with the walls and boiling begins. So, since it is a steam jacketed chamber, so with due to this steam jacketing, heat is transferred to this liquid. Okay. As soon as heat is transferred to this liquid, it starts boiling, or we can say that boiling begins. So, this is the vapors, some vapors starts, formation of vapors also starts. For further heating, or as the further liquid is exposed to the heat, what happens? This amount of vapor increases slightly and the bubble formation also takes place. Okay. So, as the sufficient vapor has been formed for the smaller sufficient vapor has been formed, and these smaller bubbles unite together to form a larger bubble. Okay. This larger bubble, what happens? It occupies the width of this tube. क्या होता है जब हम स्टीम इंट्रोड्यूस किए, फीड इंट्रोड्यूस किए, तो ये लिक्विड ट्यूब के अंदर आ गया. उसके बाद जैसे स्टीम आया, स्टीम से हीट मिला, हीट मिलते ही यहाँ पे वेपर्स फॉर्मेशन शुरू हुए. वेपर्स फॉर्मेशन शुरू हुए, उसके साथ साथ बबल फॉर्मेशन भी शुरू हो गया. तो फर्दर हीटिंग प्रोसेस जैसे जैसे आगे बढ़ रही है, ये जो बबल फॉर्मेशन है वो क्या कर रहे हैं, लार्ज बबल में इस छोटे छोटे बबल्स मिलके लार्ज बबल बना रहे हैं, बड़ा बबल बना रहे हैं. जो बड़ा बबल बना वो क्या हुआ कि इस ट्यूब के पूरे एरिया को कवर अप कर लिया. ड्यू टू फॉर्मेशन ऑफ दिस लार्ज साइज बबल, द होल एरिया ऑफ द ट्यूब इज, डायमीटर ऑफ द ट्यूब इज कवर्ड. एंड व्हाट हैपेंस, दिस bubble traps some liquid on the top of the, or trap a slug of liquid above the bubble. बबल के ऊपर कुछ लिक्विड की क्वांटिटी जो है वो ट्रैप हो गई. फर्दर हीटिंग, सी इन द डायग्राम 4, फर्दर हीटिंग leads to formation of more number of vapors. So, as more number of vapor is formed, this bubble, large bubble bursts or blown up. So, as this bubble is blown up, the liquid above this bubble, it blows up and it gets transferred to the other portion, that is separator. Okay. So, as more vapor is formed, the slug liquid is blown up the tube is filled with, the whole tube is filled with the vapors, while the liquid continues to vaporize rapidly from these tubes. So, in this way this climbing film evaporator works. So, as soon as all the liquids gets vaporized, it is transferred to the separator. In that separator, the vapor gets separated and the concentrated product, both the things are separated from each other. Concentrated product is collected from the bottom of the separator, and on the top of the separator there is a vent from where the vapors are escaped. So, in this way this film evaporator works. Now, uses of this film evaporator, it is used in the concentration of insulin, liver extracts and vitamins. Advantages of this film evaporator: large area is used for heat transfer, and it is provided by, this large surface area is provided by long and narrow tubes. Time of contact between the leaker, or we can say that feed liquid, and surface is very short. Since tubes are not submerged, so it is also suitable for foam forming liquids. Disadvantages of this climbing film evaporator is, it is expensive, difficult to clean and maintain, large head space is required for the operation of this climbing film evaporators. Now, the next evaporator is forced circulation evaporator. So, in this case forced circulation evaporator. The principle behind is liquid is circulated through the tubes at high pressure. Here a pump is used, which by the help of this pump liquid is pumped into the evaporator. So, this leads to elevation in the boiling point. So, forced circulation evaporation, it also creates some form of agitation while working. Heating unit, as you see in the diagram, it consists of a steam jacketed tubes. Heating unit is consists of a steam jacketed tubes, and inlets are provided into this heating unit for steam as well as feed. Here inlet is provided for feed liquid. From here product can be collected. Pump is used to pump the liquid into this portion is called as calandria, which is a nested consists of short tubes with steam jacket. This is a portion for steam inlet, this is vent, and from here the condensate outlet can be collected. From the top of this portion vapor outlet is also attached. The heating unit is connected with this liquor inlet unit with a tangential inlet. Okay. Working. In this case feed is introduced through the liquor inlet. Through this point the feed is introduced into the this chamber. Okay. Now, as soon as feed is introduced into it, this pump forces the liquid through the calandria. From here the pump sucks the liquid and it forces it into the calandria. So, this is the calandria. So, in this pipe liquid is pumped or forced. Now, from the steam inlet, steam is introduced into this calandria. Okay. So, this steam heats the liquid inside the calandria. So, this whole operation is under pressure in the tubes, the boiling point is elevated. So, since boiling point is elevated, in this place no boiling takes place, as the boiling point is increased or elevated. So, as soon as this liquor leaves this heating unit and enters into this chamber. So, as the liquor leaves the tube and enters the body of evaporator through this tangential inlet. Okay. There is a drop in pressure as the liquid enters into this chamber body of evaporator through this tangential inlet, there is a change in pressure, or you can say that drop in pressure, which this drop in pressure leads to the due to this drop in pressure vapor flashes off from this superheated liquid. As the pressure is dropped, so boiling point decreases and the liquid gets evaporated. So, due to this the vapor flashes out from this, after entering into this body liquid vapor flashes off from the superheated liquor. Okay. So, due to this the liquid gets evaporated and the finally the concentrated liquor can be collected from this product outlet as a final product. Okay. Now, uses of this forced circulation evaporators. It can be used for concentration of insulin and liver extracts. Thermolabile substances can also be used for. Advantages: heat transfer coefficient is high in this case due to rapid liquid movement, suitable for high viscous preparations. Disadvantages: it holds up liquid, holding time of liquid is high in this case, and it is a expensive apparatus also. Now, multiple effect evaporators. construction and working principle of multiple effect evaporator. As the name suggests, multiple effect evaporator. So, in this, as we see in the diagram, there are 3 different evaporator: first effect, second effect, third effects. That is why it is called as a multiple effect evaporator. And finally, this evaporator is connected to a separator where the vapor gets condensed and condensate is can be collected from the bottom of the container, and from the top, if the vapor not gets condensed, then it is supplied to vacuum pump. Okay. So, from this portion here a inlet is there for feed, from the bottom the product is collected. So, here the product or concentrated liquid which is coming out, that is used as a feed inlet in case of second effect, and the vapor which is coming from the top of the evaporator, that is used as a source of steam in case of second effect. Similarly, in case of third effect also, from vapor from second effect is used as a source of steam in third effect, and the concentrated liquid which is collected from second effect is used as a feed inlet in case of third effect. Finally, the product is collected from the third effect as a concentrated product. So, the n number of evaporators can be attached in this way in case of multiple effect evaporators. Now, construction and working principle. As I have explained in previous slide, the dilute feed or liquor enters the first effect where it is partly concentrated, then it flows to the second effect for additional concentration, and finally, to the third effect for final concentration. In a similar way, in the first effect raw steam is fed in which the vapor pressure in the evaporator is highest and decreases subsequently in the next evaporators, that is P 1 is less than P 1 greater than P 2 greater than P 3. So, in the second effect the vapor from first effect is used as a heating source, or vapor from first effect is heating the liquor. Consequently, the liquor will be heated, and similarly vapor from second effect is used as a heating source in third effect, as it has been explained in previous slides. Now, method of feeding. Method of feeding, it plays a important role in case of multiple effect evaporators. So, there are 4 feeding methods. First one is forward feed, second one is backward feed, third one is mixed feed, and the fourth one is parallel feed. So, first one, forward feed. So, this is the diagram of forward feed evaporator. Okay. In this case, why forward feed? Because the feed liquid and the steam, source of steam, both are moving in the same direction. So, from first effect, this is first effect, second effect, third effect, and fourth effect. Okay. So, from this is first effect evaporator, second effect, third effect, fourth effect evaporator. From first effect, the feed liquid is introduced into the first effect, steam is introduced into the first effect evaporator. From there, the concentrated liquid is transferred to second effect as a feed inlet, and the vapor which is collected from first effect is used as a heating source in the second effect. Similarly, the from second effect the concentrated liquid is transferred to third effect, and vapor is used as a source of heat in third effect. Similarly, it happens in the fourth effect also. Finally, the product is collected from the fourth evaporator, that is more concentrated product. Backward feed, in case of backward feed the steam and feed both are moving in opposite direction. So, steam is introduced into first effect, second, third, fourth. Okay. So, steam is introduced into the first effect and the feed liquid is introduced from the last effect. From last effect it comes to third effect, then it comes to second, then it comes to first effect. Finally, the product is collected from first effect. In case of first effect, both are moving in same direction, that means low pressure zone to high pressure zone it is moving. So, in this case no pumping is required. In case of backward feed, it is moving from high to low. So, pumping is required. Okay. In this case product is collected at the lowest temperature, in this case product is collected at the highest temperature. So, for viscous liquid backward feed is better because it is moving to the highest temperature level. So, from this first effect from this backward feed product is collected at less viscous is product is collected at first evaporator. Now, the mixed feed method. Okay. In this case the liquid feed liquid is introduced in the middle evaporator or in the center of the evaporator. So, in this case first, second, third, fourth. So, in this case there are 4 evaporators. So, feed is introduced into the third effect evaporator, then it transferred to fourth effect. So, from transferring of feed 3 to fourth effect no pumping is required, but again from fourth effect the feed is sent back to second evaporator. So, in this case pumping is required. From second to it again comes to first effect, here also pumping is required. So, and finally, the product is collected at first effect evaporator. Instead of third effect, feed can be introduced from second effect also, second to third, third to fourth, then fourth to first, like this. And the steam source of steam is supplied into the first effect, then from there first effect the vapor which is produced, that is used as a steam source in second, from second it is used as a steam source in third, and from third it is used as a heating source in for fourth effect evaporators. From the last, that is parallel feed method. In this case the evaporator feed is introduced into each evaporator separately. In previous cases feed is introduced in first effect evaporator, that is dilute solution, then the concentrated product is subjected to second, then third, then fourth, like that. But in parallel feed subsequently the dilute liquid is fed into all the evaporators. Difference is this: steam is rest is same in this case also. The steam is fed into the first effect evaporator, the vapor which is produced in first effect is used as a source of heat in second. Similarly, from second it is used as a source of heat in third, from third it is used as a vapor is used as a source of heat in case of fourth effect evaporators. Okay. So, from this, and in this case one more difference is there, the product is collected from all the effect evaporators, that is thick liquid can be collected or concentrated product can be collected from all the evaporators. So, there is a difference between parallel feed and other feeds. In case of parallel feed, dilute solution is fed into all the evaporators. In case of mixed feed or forward feed or backward feed, dilute solution is introduced into a single effect in one evaporator. From there, the concentrated liquid is slightly concentrated liquid is transferred into the second next evaporator as a source of feed. Here in each evaporator dilute liquid is fed, and from each evaporator the product is collected as a thick liquor. So, this is all about different methods of feeding of liquid into the evaporator. So, it also this method of feeding plays a vital role in the efficiency of multiple effect evaporators. So, depending upon this which method to choose. Okay. Now, the question arises which method to choose. So, choosing of method depends upon the type of product we want. If more concentrated product, then if only thick liquor is our main aim to get, then we can go for parallel feed. For others, we can go for mixed feed or forward feed. If less viscous substance we want, then we can go for backward feed, like that. Now, economy of multiple effect evaporator. Okay. So, to calculate the economy of multiple effect evaporator, there are some assumptions. First assumption is feed is at boiling point. The feed which is introduced into the evaporator, that is at boiling point, and loss of heat is negligible in this case. In effect 1, 1 kg of steam transfers its heat to feed. Since feed is at boiling point, so the total amount of heat is used as the latent heat of vaporization. Therefore, 1 kg of steam will produce 1 kg of vapor in effect 1. Okay. So, this the vapor which is produced in effect 1, that vapor is used as a source of steam in effect 2. So, this 1 kg vapor from effect 1 will transfer heat to the liquor of effect 2. Here also 1 kg of vapor will produce 1 kg vapor for the liquor from the liquor. This 1 kg vapor which is produced in effect 2 is transferred to effect 3. So, in effect 3 this will again produce a 1 kg vapor in effect 3. So, since 3 evaporators or 3 effect evaporators we have considered. So, if you will see that 1 kg steam is producing 3 kg of vapors in case of multiple effect evaporator. Now, economy of a single effect evaporator, there is a formula, vapor produced by steam is used. So, in if single effect evaporator is there, so 1 kg vapor 1 kg steam is used to produce 1 kg vapor. So, the efficiency is 1. Now, economy of triple effect evaporator is, here also 1 kg steam is used to produce 3 kg of vapor. So, total economy is 3. So, n number of effect is produces n times of efficiency of single effect evaporators. Thank you.